Jason Minnix, Rob Thompson, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the go at ESPNSA.com. Welcome aboard. Enjoy the ride. We got a full hour of fun headed your direction. Spurs are tipping off tonight at 7:30. We got our game night San Antonio at 6:30. But in the meantime, let's do one of our favorite things we do all week long. Let's start cooking. Let's start getting ready to eat something fantastic. Mark Singleton joins us from Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. As we are on the cusp of Pork Rind Appreciation Day, less than 2 weeks away, let's celebrate the greatness that is the pork rind yet again with the very best in a new and exciting way. Mark, what are we doing today?
You know, we're gonna kind of take a look at an old favorite. We're gonna take a twist up a Texas favorite, and we're once again going to talk about, instead of using pork rind, or instead of using a potato chip as the vehicle for a great tasting dip, and 14 grams of carbs per serving, we're going to use a pork rind as the vehicle for a great tasting dip and have 0 carbs per serving.
You know, it's interesting because we were talking before you came on, Mark, about the Tom Brady diet, which nobody could live on. But, you know, all of us are on some sort of a diet, or probably need to be. And this is the, you know, you guys have figured out how you could take something that we're all going to enjoy, but make it better for us, which is key. And I think that's what we're going to do here, especially when you think about the big game and Pork Rind Appreciation Day, which is not this Sunday, but the following.
Yeah, you know, right now we're seeing a lot of chatter on the internet. We're seeing a lot of people talking about the story that y'all are following with Tom Brady, but just an overall health discussion. We know that in the people that have eaten pork rinds for the first time in the last year, the people that are now buying them, that 67% of those consumers are viewing it as a way to achieve a lifestyle goal. They're looking at it as a way to lower their glycemic load. They're looking at it as a way to consume 0 carbs. They're looking at it as a way to get additional protein in their diet. So there's a multiple of goals they have. But the one thing that, you know, thank gosh, since we've been around since 1955, somebody's finally figuring out, is that pork rinds can serve a lot of those nutritional goals, because we are a 0 carb, protein-based, collagen heavy snack food.
Absolutely perfect. And as we come toward the big game, we're all going to be celebrating it a little bit differently. I think there'll be a lot more at-home parties. And how do you celebrate the right way? You cook things that are fun and to talk about and watch the commercials in the game with. Avocado Cheese Dip on the menu today. I would have never in a million years found a way, I would have thought, to put a pork rind into an avocado cheese dip. But yet we have, and yet again, it looks extraordinary.
Well, you know, think of this as like if Green Goddess married up with some great cream cheese. It's, you know, we eat so much guacamole here in Texas, and we do it with corn chips. We really wanted, with this recipe, to take something that we all love, Green Goddess or avocados, that we know is good for us, that, you know, is 0 cholesterol. It's heavy with the good fats that we're all looking for in our diet, as our pork rinds. You know, 60+% of our fat is the same fat oleic acid, the same fat that you find in olive oil or tuna fish. So we're combining that. This is Mark proof, guys. Your friends are going to love this. This is tangy. It's tart. It's avocado-y. It's creamy. And it is so simple. All you do is take 2 ripe avocados. Just kind of mash them up a little bit. Don't go crazy there. Take a half a cup of plain Greek yogurt. Take a cup of cream cheese that you've left out on the counter. Or if you really want to cheat, get the pre-softened stuff in the store. And then just add all that together. Put in 2 cloves of garlic. Just juice up 1 lime. A little salt, a little pepper. And I'm not kidding you guys. This stuff is amazing. It once again, it's like Green Goddess in a real Mediterranean feel because of the yogurt, and it just tastes great tonight I'm pairing it with our pasilla chili cheese pork rind because it's got a little cheese and a little heat. But you could do it with any of our pork rinds, salt and pepper, kimchi, barbecue, but this one tastes great.
One of the keys, Mark, I think, is you have to have a pork rind that is structurally sound enough to deal with a dip. And I think that's one of the keys to, you fry your pork rinds up and not just your typical oil. This is a healthy, crispy, crackly pork rind that is substantial enough to hold up to a dip.
Yeah, it's so funny. When we're cutting these, there's a lot of big pieces that come out of that, and they just really lend themselves to not only dipping, but think of them as a base for a nacho this weekend or next weekend with the big game. Think of them as a base of anything that you're trying to take carbs out of and put some, let's talk about one of my real favorite, chili cheese fries. Like at Snuffers. I mean, oh my gosh, that's great. But you got all those carbs. Just a jillion grabs. So whereas if you use a pork rinds as a base, a little chili, a little cheese, some bacon, it totally changes the diet dynamics of the dish. And it does. It's like having bacon on cheese on bacon.
Well, and it can't go wrong with that. That just sounds like heaven. And one of the things that I do appreciate with what you guys do at Southern Recipe Small Batch, and I'm glad you paired it with the pasilla chili cheese, because when I was looking at the recipe, I was thinking, man, that would be fantastic. Now, the pasilla chili cheese has become my favorite. It was Korean kimchi barbecue, but now that's moved down on the metal stand, and the pasilla chili cheese ones are there at the top and all available at HEB. But I like the fact that, sometimes you reach into the bag and you get just this massive pork rind that comes out of it, and you guys don't cut them down to where they're all like the same form. And so when you're dipping, I do think that really does lend to it even more.
Well, also it's just minimally processed. There's not a pork rind shaper. We cut them, we smoke them, we fry. It's not like a fabricated chip. You're seeing a lot of fake stuff out there that's calling themselves a crackling or snackling or this or that or the other these days. And they can all be the same size because they're just making it in the machine like a cheese dip. But, this is minimally processed. And once again, most people have never thought of taking avocado, a little yogurt, a little garlic, lemon juice, cream cheese, and pairing it with pork rinds as a dip. And the greatest thing about this dip, guys, you can make it up ahead of time because it's got lemon juice in it or lime juice in it. It holds up pretty well. And so, you can make it up that morning, serve it that afternoon and evening as your at-home big game party takes place.
Mark, as we're forming our menus right now for the big game parties coming up just a week from Sunday, and as everybody's going to have pork rinds around anyway. Looking at the dip itself and the idea of using that, the yogurt, the Greek yogurt, could I substitute sour cream, or does it need to be that kind of thick, heavy Greek yogurt?
No, you could. You could substitute sour cream. Remember, we're making a dip. We call it, we call it, Green Goddess meets bacon. But, this is a dip. So any base, you could use a sour cream. You could use a thickened Mexican crema. There's all kinds of ways that you could do this. But the secret is the lime juice to really bring up that acidity, the garlic to give you, just that great garlicly flavor. Avocados are just so dang good for you. And I don't know about you guys, but I've overdone guacamole. I'm looking for other ways to use it. And this is also great on a sandwich. You think about this as a spread on a sandwich with a turkey, a BLT, something like that. It's just a great recipe overall.
Head over to porkrinds.com. And Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Every week, Mark joins us. And if you've been following, and I'm sure a lot of you have, you check out the recipes. And the base for all of this is the pork rind. It can be used as a binder. It can be used as an additive. And here today, it's in its most basic form, elevated to, once again, another way to keep you keto friendly, keep that glycemic load down, but keep the flavor up. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rind is not the kind of pork rind, if you've never had one, that you've had before. It is the healthiest you can possibly make it. I think when I first met Mark, he said, nobody has ever written me a letter. Nobody ever emailed me asking me for more yellow dye number 2. And he's done everything he could to make it as healthy as possible by bringing the porkiness of the pork rind and keeping it fried in a healthier oil and eliminating all the other stuff, and then using it in ways that are remarkable. This seems basic, but it's a way to cut that intake down. And as a guy who's on a health plan, a weight loss program, this plays in, and it just makes it that much easier to do the things that make you feel good.
And as we're all feeding our friends and family during this these times and for these games, it doesn't hurt to eat a little healthier, but still, you don't have to give up the great taste. As I know y'all went through with Tim last week, and as we've gone through all football season, you don't have to eat bad to eat well. And we sure look forward to sharing another great recipe with you guys next week as we go to the
big
biggest
game
of the year.
The biggest game of the year.
I cannot believe it. How could this be written any better?
Well, it would have been written better if maybe the Cowboys would have been there. But other than that, we certainly will celebrate
whatever.
The right way. You're putting together a big spread. You know you're going to have pork
one
rinds.
play and making this big a difference. It's a great story. And the fact that he eats like a Washley rabbit makes it even more interesting.
Yeah,
So,
he's like some
you
kind
guys
of
have a great week.
Mark Singleton here with Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Head over to HEB, buy all the different flavors. Go to porkrinds.com. Lots of great recipes there. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Every week, we love having Mark Singleton on. I am completely hungry now. I'm going to make myself some avocado dip and use the yogurt. Use the yogurt. I mean, expand your horizons a little bit.